Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are thrilled to have Equisys join us to talk a little bit more about AP automation and expense management for Business Central, specifically within their product, Zetadocs. So going into the agenda for today, we'll give you a quick introduction of who we are here at SA Global, then we'll pass it over to the Zetadocs team. Sandra will take you through their AP automation tool, as well as their expense management tool and automated document delivery. So after that, we'll discuss a little bit about next steps and sort of how to engage with both of our teams if you're interested in learning more. And certainly if you have questions throughout, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll reserve time for the end of the call to go over those questions. So my name is Andrew Teskey. I am our account executive for all things Business Central. And I've personally worked with Sandra and Zetadocs for a number of years now and used their Zetadocs expense management product. And I can tell you it's very, very simple and very easy to use, which is why we're thrilled to be partnering with them. Again, SA Global, we are a global Microsoft shop. Working not only within Business Central, but F&O, GP, as well as the Business Application Suite. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and pass it over to Sandra.
That's great. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks, everyone, for joining the webinar today. Really appreciate your time and interest in learning about Zetadocs. I am the Channel Account Senior Sales Manager for Equisys. Equisys is the developer of the Zetadocs product suite. Also joining me and being a part of the presentation today will be our account manager, Kaylin Johnson.
Thank you, Sandra.
And I think from this point, we're just going to go ahead and go straight into the webinar presentation.
During conversations with companies and partners, we know that each organization has its own unique challenges and requirements when it comes to their daily workflows. Equisys, the developers of Zetadocs product suite, introduced Zetadocs for NAV in 2007. And this came from conversations with partners and customers who were looking for an efficient way to store documents in NAV records and send out reports in NAV. Since 2007, Equisys have been providing efficient document and expense management solutions to over 5,000 customers worldwide. The Zetadocs Cloud service archives over 300,000 documents per month to SharePoint Online. And our 4.6 out of 5 rating on AppSource is a reflection of our usefulness and effectiveness of the Zetadocs product line. Some companies need an organized way to electronically store their documents while making it easy to upload vendor invoices and automatically create the purchase invoice. Some companies need a quicker and more efficient way to submit and process expenses. The Zetadocs product suite is designed for use inside Business Central, whether in the cloud or on-prem. Let's take a look at some key benefits of Zetadocs AP automation. Capture AP can be set up very quickly with AI-based technology that is ready to use. Unlike other competitor solutions, there are no vendor templates or system training required to get started. Zetadocs allows your customers to work smarter with features that include automated data entry, purchase order matching, and ongoing system learning. Zetadocs AP automation is easy to use inside of Business Central with automated archiving of vendor documents to SharePoint Online for quick visibility via Business Central or Microsoft SharePoint.
Thank you, Kaylin. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to jump out of the PowerPoint here and show you the demo for Zetadocs Capture AP. So right now I am on the home screen of Business Central. And I'm going to come over here to this Zetadocs document queues area. You can always come up here to your search and also just type in Zetadocs document queues, either the whole 3 words, or you can do an abbreviation. And I'm going to click on this, and that's going to hold up this queue or open up this queue. We create document queues for our Zetadocs Capture customers so that they can upload vendor invoices into this holding area, if you will, which is what I'm going to show you. With the solution, you can upload a vendor invoice, and the Zetadocs Capture behind the scenes is going to automatically create the purchase invoice, which you can then go ahead and post, process, send to your customer. The AP automation tool is part of the Microsoft AI Forms Recognizer. And what we do is we install the Zetadocs Capture software on your Business Central system, including these queues. And from this point, I'm going to show you how those vendor invoices are uploaded and how the solution automatically creates those purchase invoices for you. So I'm going to click on this AP automation queue area, and that's where I'm going to upload the vendor file. And we add this to all of our customers that are using the solution. I'm going to hit OK, and that's going to open up the area where I can then go ahead and upload my file. So I'm going to hit this queue here, and I'm going to hit Upload Files. And what that is doing, it's taking me out to this area here, which is a SharePoint Online folder. Customers that use Zetadocs Capture, all of the documents that they store within the different records in Business Central are actually stored in SharePoint Online. SharePoint Online comes with Microsoft 365, and we use it as our outside repository for all documents that are stored in Business Central so that it does not slow down your Business Central system. It is also much cheaper to pay for additional storage in SharePoint than it is in Business Central. So we hold the documents here so that it doesn't slow down your Business Central system. And at the same time, anybody in the company that does not have a Business Central license can have access to the documents that are stored in Business Central. All documents that are stored in Business Central are viewable at any time. The documents themselves, using metadata tagging, are stored in SharePoint Online. So to go ahead and upload that video, the attachment, the vendor invoice, I'm going to pull over my email here. Here's the invoice that is attached to an email to me, the vendor invoice, and I'm just going to drag and drop it here into the holding area. Once I drag and drop it into the holding area, and we're going to try that one more time. Let's pull that back up and drag and drop it here. It's going to store it. Once it stores it, we're going to come back over here to the Zetadocs queue. And then when we hit the queue, we're going to hit refresh. And when we hit that refresh, the invoice here that I just dropped into the SharePoint folder is now showing up. So I'm going to highlight it, and now I'm going to go back up here to Item and hit Process. And what the system is doing, using that Forms Recognizer AI tool, is it's reading all of the information from that vendor invoice. The vendor name, the vendor invoice number, the items that are listed on the vendor invoice, the items descriptions, etc. And we put this in a preview screen so that the user can make sure everything matches up before hitting this OK. Once we hit OK, the system is going to create an unposted purchase invoice. So let's just review the screen real quick. You can see it pulled over the vendor name. It pulled over the vendor invoice number. And then jumping down here, we've got the item description, the item number, the costs, the quantities, etc. Now, all of these items have been set up in the item reference table within Business Central. So for inventory items, they do need to be set up in the item reference table first for the system, their OCR recognition, to read these item descriptions. If I want to match to a purchase order, some companies do match to purchase orders, I'm going to come up and hit these three dots here, and I'm going to select this match to order lines. Now it is showing me all of the purchase order line items and how they match to the vendor invoice here. So we've matched everything up. We can also use the system for partial order matching as well. Sometimes you're going to get a vendor invoice that is only for a few items that are on that purchase order, and you're going to have separate shipments off of that one purchase order. That's fine. The system can be set up to partially match and create that posted invoice for only those items that are going to ship. I'm going to go ahead and hit close. That takes me back to my preview. That all looks good. So I'm now going to hit OK. And once I hit OK, it is now going to create that unposted purchase invoice. Now, of course, you can have it set to being a posted invoice if you'd like, but most companies want it to be set to an unposted purchase invoice, and then they can process from there. So now here we've got our screen that is showing the purchase invoice that was automatically created from uploading that vendor invoice and then processing it. You can see all of the information was carried over, your item numbers, descriptions, quantities, dollar amounts, the total, the tax, the total with tax, etc. Over here, we have our Zetadocs fact box. That vendor invoice was automatically stored and can be viewed from the fact box at any time. Coming back to the purchase invoice, we now can go ahead and process it. Before I jump out, I also wanted to just pull up that, that email again real quick to remind any current Zetadocs customers, and I'll just let new customers know that in addition to using this Capture AP tool, you can drag and drop supporting documents into this fact box straight from your email. So let's just say we don't need to convert this vendor invoice into a purchase invoice. Maybe it's a sales order. All you need to do is just drag and drop any of your emails or email attachments into the box here. And then you just click on it and it's going to show you what you stored. If you wanted to drag and drop the entire email, you can, and you click on it and it's going to show the email with the attachment. If you want to just drag and drop an attachment, you can do that here in the Zetadocs fact box. We're using a PDF format today in the demo. Please keep in mind that there are a wide variety of document types that can be stored here in the fact box just using that simple drag and drop tool. And this can be done in any of your records within Business Central. Sales records, purchasing records, jobs, production orders, journal entries, ledger entries, fixed asset card. Those are all records where we have companies using the Zetadocs Capture tool where they just drag and drop and store documents here. Or you can also use the AP tool to convert your vendor invoices to purchase invoices. One more quick thing before I complete the Capture demo is I did want to point out the record mapping that our project lead puts into each customer's Zetadocs Capture system so that you only have to add documents once. Now here, of course, we're in the posted purchase invoice. Let's say we're in a purchase order and I just dragged and dropped a few documents that I received from the customer, emails, etc., into here. Once that purchase order becomes a purchase receipt, for example, everything that was stored in the fact box here in the purchase order is going to automatically show up on the purchase receipt. If you go from purchase order to purchase invoice or to receipt, then to invoice, it doesn't matter what your workflow is. The idea is that we add this fact box to all the records you want it added to, and when you drag and drop and put a document into the fact box, it'll flow through based on your posting routine so that you only have to add documents once. So with the Capture AP tool, you can drag and drop any types of attachments: PDF, Word, Excel, audio recordings, videos, photos, design specifications, etc., can be dropped into this fact box for view. These invoices and everything that's dropped into this fact box that the user can open up and view are also stored in your SharePoint library. We set up what is called the Zetadocs library in SharePoint Online. So everything that you store here in your records in Business Central are always viewable here and also in the outside repository in SharePoint Online. So that is a brief overview of Zetadocs Capture. I'm going to come back out here to the home page, and let's clean this up just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to jump back into the PowerPoint. And now we're going to talk a little bit about Zetadocs expenses.
Thank you, Sandra. With Zetadocs Expenses OCR, information is automatically populated to the expense detail. All expense data, including the GL code, carries over to the automatically created purchase invoice in Business Central. Purchase invoices are automatically created for cash reimbursements, as well as non-reimbursable expense paid with a credit card. We now offer daily bank feeds so that the finance team can quickly reconcile expense payments. We can also set up the solution to sync expense data by routing through jobs or journals in Business Central. Business mileage is accurately calculated with our Google Maps integration. So before we jump into the demo, it is important to note that Business Central does not offer any expense management functionality. Zetadocs Expenses sits outside of Business Central in the cloud, yet integrates with the automatic creation of purchase invoice or by the job and journal routing. This way, employees who submit or approve an expense report do not need a Business Central license. Something to keep in mind while watching the demo.
It's great. Thank you, Kaylin. Now Kaylin's going to come on over and do a brief demo of how Zetadocs Expenses works.
Thank you, Sandra. Okay. So for this demo, I'm going to show you how to create an expense report and submit the report for approval. With Zetadocs Expenses, after the report is approved, purchase invoices are automatically created in Business Central. I'm just showing this demo on the desktop. However, we do have a Zetadocs app for phones and tablets, and we support iOS and Androids. So right now we are David. David is a sales representative on a business trip, and he just got to his hotel and he wants to expense his hotel receipt. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to click on New Expense. Then we're going to click on Payment. Now we're just going to scroll down here and click on Add Receipts. And we're just going to go down a little bit, click on the hotel receipt and upload it here. Awesome. And now, as you can see, everything has been populated from here to the lines, except for the expense description, but that's all right. We just click on hotel. We do have a remember me function. So all you have to do is type in hotel just once, and it'll remember that, and then you can just click down and click on it. As you can see, we support all types of payment, whether it's Amex, cash, or personal card. We also support all sorts of currencies. Right here, as you can see, we do have a warning label. This is our expense limit, and it varies depending on what your company policies are. But as you can see, it's orange, so that's just a warning. Now we're just going to scroll down right here. We support all jobs, tasks, and dimensions. We auto sync with jobs and dimensions and tasks. We customize dimension fields based on requirements. Projects and departments are just an example of the dimension fields. We're just going to click on save right here. And now we are also going to expense mileage. David had lunch with a customer, and now he would like to expense his mileage to the customer lunch. So we're just going to click on lunch with Acme. We're going to click on the starting point, which is Equisys, our headquarters. And he had steak and sushi. The client, as you can see, we're integrated with Google Maps, so you can see his routing. Of course, he returned back to the office, and it has already populated the distance miles, the mileage rates, and the expense amounts. So yeah, all you have to do is just click on save. And now we are just going to go to new report. We're going to click on the plus. Any drafts that you do not want to expense, we just unselect it. And we keep these two drafts. Of course, the hotel, the lunch with Acme, we see the dates, we just add them. And now we're going to click on submit. It's asking, are we sure if we want to process the expense report that has a warning? We're going to click on yes. And so as you can see, we have our two approvers. We have Kevin Doe, and then we have April, who is our last approver. We can even add an approver. If Kevin's not in the office, we can always select a different approver, but we're just going to keep Kevin. As you can see, we have a submissions comment right here. It says, please approve. You could really use anything for a comment, but we're just going to keep please approve, and we are just going to submit it. And now we are just going to go to Kevin. Kevin sees that he has two tasks that he needs to submit, so you're just going to click on those. As you can see, we see the date, we see the please approve, so we're just going to click on that. So he can see the history, he can see that was tasked to him, he can see that it was started by David, he can see the comment, and he can even view the receipt. So he could view both of them. And he has the option whether he could approve it or even do more. So he can even edit it, reject it. If he just wants to reject the hotel receipt and not the mileage expense, he could just do that and keep the mileage. You don't have to reject both. You can always just keep one. And we're just going to go back here. We're going to see more of the options. So we even have options to delegate it as well, or even print it out. But we are just going to approve it. And now it's asking, do we want to approve it? We're just going to say yes. It's asking for approval comment. We could leave one, but we're just not going to. Yes. Alrighty, now it's been processed and it's been sent to April. April has already approved it. And so now we are just going to go to Business Central. So our portal has already communicated with Business Central to create an unposted purchase in Business Central. So we're just going to go to purchasing. We're going to go to purchase invoices. Now we're going to go to David. Now, as you can see, all the information from the expense detail has already been transferred over. There is no rekey required. So now we're just going to go back and we're going to find his other expense from his mileage. As you can see, that has already been put in as well. So we just looked at 2 examples of reimbursables from David. But maybe what if David did one with an Amex card? We could show this example as well. And as you can see, this is one of the non-reimbursable examples of everything being put into Business Central. And that concludes for this demo.
That's great. Thank you, Caitlin. Appreciate the quick overview of Zetadocs expenses. And just as a quick reminder, like Caitlin had mentioned, you can do this on your desktop, your laptop, tablet, or phone. We have the app available. I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to bring back our PowerPoint here. Also, as a quick reminder, with Zetadocs expenses, we have 2 different functionalities available. What Caitlin just showed you was for United States customers. We also have a version for Canadian customers. And in the Canadian version, that includes the ability to reclaim the tax per province. More than happy to send a follow-up email or schedule a call to show you the Canadian tax reclaim for our Canadian customers. So we do have 2 different versions, one for the US and one for Canada. So now we're going to move into Zetadocs document delivery. And with Zetadocs Delivery, customers use the solution to create a batch and send that batch out to all their customers. So what that means is I want to send out, let's say, 50 invoices, and they're going to go to 20 different customers. Some customers are going to receive an email with 1 invoice attached. Some customers are going to receive an email with several invoices attached. But I want to send this all out all at the same time. With the delivery tool, you can very easily create a batch, and it can be invoices, statements, issued reminders, purchase orders, shipping documents, receipts, etc. The idea is to make it easy for you to send these types of reports out of Business Central to all of your customers all at the same time. The version that we have for Business Central includes an edit tool. Using the edit tool, the user can go into the customer email before the batch goes out. So when the batch is created on the screen, the user is going to see, here's all the emails to your 20 different customers that are going to go out. And when you hit that OK, everything's going to go out all at the same time. If I received an email from one of my customers before that batch goes out and they asked if I would add a price sheet, or so-and-so is out of the office, so can you change the sent to? You can easily use the edit tool and go into that line for that email before it goes out and make those changes. You can add a sent to, you can add additional recipients, you can add more text into the templated message. So there are templates with Zetadocs Delivery that are very easy. So when you're creating a batch of invoices and that invoice goes out, it's the same messaging in the body of the email that goes out to each of your customers. But if you wanted to add something, you'd hit that edit tool, say, this particular customer on a more personal basis, how was your vacation, etc. And then you can also use the edit tool to add attachments as well. So maybe that customer, like I said, had asked for a price sheet, and you can jump in, add that. Then you go back to the batch screen and hit OK. It's going to send all of those emails out all at the same time. Your customer is going to receive an email with a consolidated attachment as a single PDF, and that's going to have all of the invoices any additional attachments that the user may have added in one single PDF. So it makes it very easy for the customer to receive that email, open it up, and remit payment on those invoices in this particular example. The user who sends out the batch can always go into their sent items and see the emails that went out. We also have an activity log that holds a complete history, a batch history. So anytime you want to go back and see, when something was sent out to a customer, they might send you an email and say, hey, I'm so sorry, I never received that. Did you send it? You can go into their batch history that's available within the solution to review when anything was sent out. So you can do that through the outbox within Business Central, which is part of the delivery solution that we add into your Business Central, or you can go into your sent items as well. And then lastly, we can apply an automatic scheduler. So if you, you're a busy company, you send out lots of invoices every day, lots of sales orders every day, monthly statements, etc. You can set up the batch send on an automatic scheduler, so it's going to automatically create that batch and send it out for you without the user having to keep doing it over and over again. So that gives you a quick review of Zetadocs Delivery for Business Central. All of these additional features that I mentioned are not available with the built-in Business Central delivery, so something to keep in mind there. And for the sake of time, we're just going to jump into the next steps. Customers who are interested in learning more, feel free to reach out to your sa.global account manager, and we're happy to schedule a discovery call with you or a demo, or maybe both at the same time. If you have a list of requirements, you can always email those requirements to your account manager, and then that account manager would reach out to me, and I'd review those, and we can, then create a discovery call and go over your requirements. I can let you know, yes, the solution can meet these requirements, no, etc. So there's a lot of different ways that we can connect. Most often it's with a discovery call and a demo. In addition to, talking about your requirements with a call and or a demo, we have customers that are currently using Zetadocs for Nav that are going to be upgrading to Business Central. And for our customers that are using Zetadocs to Nav and they want to move up to Business Central, I always also recommend scheduling a quick call so we can show you how that functionality that you're used to using in Nav looks in Business Central. But we also need to have a conversation about file migration and upgrading your system from Nav to Business Central. So the thing to keep in mind, if you are currently using Zetadocs and are going to be upgrading to Business Central, is to allow for a good 3 to 4 months out before your go live, so that we can gather the information we need and create the service project so that our implementation manager can do your upgrade in a timely manner. If you wanted to just take a look at the product demos that are out there, we have demo videos available on our website and also on our Equisys YouTube channel. I have a large selection of short product demo videos that I've also recorded, and I'm happy to send them at any time for capture, delivery, or expenses. And lastly, we are offering a 10% discount off the first year subscription for our new Zetadocs customers to Business Central. This applies from October 1st through December 31st, so fourth quarter this year. If you are looking at Zetadocs and would like to learn more about it and move forward with the purchase, we are offering that 10% discount off your first year subscription price.
We are excited to be a Community Summit sponsor and invite you to stop by our booth number 1818. This gives us an opportunity to meet you face to face and answer your questions.
Thank you, Kaylin. Yeah, so we're really excited to be working with sa.global. We'll both be at Summit. Feel free to stop by the sa.global booth, and then you can walk over to our booth. But we wanted to make sure that you know that we are both going to be there if you're planning on being at Summit this year. And we're happy to answer any of your questions if you'd like to stop by.
Well, this concludes our webinar. Thank you for your time today. Andrew, do we have any questions that came in?
Just a few questions that I saw. So first things first, I think you touched on it briefly there as part of the next step, Sandra, but do folks who are using Zetadocs, do all business users, Business Central users need a Zetadocs license in order to store documents?
Oh, thank you. That's a really good question. So the only Business Central users that need a Zetadocs license, a capture license, are those that are going to be dragging and dropping documents into the fact box like I had shown, or using the AP tool to create purchase invoices from vendor invoices. So if there's people on the finance team that are going to be going into that queue, processing vendor invoices, they would need a Zetadocs capture license. If you have people on the team that are going to be using that drag and drop and storing documents into the fact box in the various Business Central records, they need a Zetadocs capture license. But anybody with a Business Central license can click on those documents that are stored in the fact box and view them. You don't need a Zetadocs license just to click on a document that's been stored and view it. The people that need the license are the ones that are actually dragging and dropping or using the AP tool.
Awesome. So if you're using it, you'll need a license, but if you're not, you're a Business Central user, you can still access the data that somebody puts in there. I'm hearing that right?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Also kind of a Business Central reporting question. Can you pull reports of form expense data?
Yes. So in addition to our integration with Google Maps, we have a direct integration with Power BI as well. So for customers that are using Power BI, the reporting tool Power BI, that can be set up during the implementation part of Zetadocs expenses. When our project lead does the implementation, she will show you how to integrate your Power BI tool so that you can pull, you know, how much money do we spend this year per customer? How much money do we spend this year on airfare? How much money did each employee spend this year, et cetera. You can pull all that type of reporting data using the Power BI tool integrated with Zetadocs expenses.
It's a great point to make. I think a lot of our customers are starting to use the Power Platform and especially Power BI more and more. And since the data is all going to reside within Business Central one way or another, you know, it makes it a little bit easier for them to access that information. One last question with regards to the Zetadocs delivery. Are there other types of reports that you can batch send?
Yes, so I know I talked a lot about invoices. That is the most common type of report that customers that are using the delivery tool use. But in addition to the invoices, and I know I had mentioned monthly statements, you can get very creative. We have a customer that is batch sending purchase orders. They do a large volume, send out purchase orders every day. And what our project lead did is she set up their delivery solution to include the design specifications that are on the line items of that purchase order. So when those purchase orders go out, each customer that receives the email with the purchase order will also receive as an attachment the design specs. We can get very, very creative. Customers that are sending out monthly statements or issued reminders, we can set up the solution so that the overdue invoices are also automatically attached to that email. So there's a lot of flexibility. You can be very creative with the solution.
Awesome. Yeah, I know we hear a lot about folks who want to, batch send as as much as possible to try to lighten the load. So that's really good to hear. So otherwise, those are all the questions that I see and all the questions that I have. Otherwise, just want to say thank you again to Sandra and Kaylin for taking the time walking us through their solutions. Like they mentioned, please do reach out if you have any questions with regards to Zetadocs and how we can help get you set up there. Also, again, with Community Summit coming up, please let us know if you have questions there as well, and would love to see you there too. So otherwise, hope you have a great rest of your Thursday and look forward to talking with all of you soon.